We journey inside the reserved halls of the Montego Bay Convention Center out west. But before that, we hear from some of the men and women who work while we sleep to keep our streets clean in time for sunrise. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. The news is on the other side of this message, so stay with us.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez, and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, September 17. The National Water Commission, NWC, says so far it has spent over $42 million on the Kingston and St. Andrew component of its network efficiency project. The disclosure was made by President Mark Barnett at a JIS think tank. He says that figure does not include the $5 billion Jamaican dollars being spent to replace water mains on Constant Spring Road, Ferry to 6 Miles, Barbican, Marcus Garvey Drive, and Hagley Park Road. In addition, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has committed $60 million to address transmission mains.
So you can understand the magnitude of the work that is required to modernize and improve our water supply network in a growing city. So having recognized that, it will take us another 5 to 10 years, and we're looking at over $500 million to really correct, improve our water supply network in Kingston alone.
According to Mr. Barnett, it will cost approximately $3.5 billion to carry out an overall water improvement and sewage service for the entire country. Government will be allocating $25 million to the Trelawney Municipal Corporation for road rehabilitation throughout the parish. Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, says the work will include construction of sidewalks and installation of drains. He was speaking at the Municipal Corporation's monthly meeting on Thursday. In addition, Mr. McKenzie says his ministry will make an allocation of $1.2 million to the Trelawney Poor Relief Department to undertake housing repairs under the Indigent Housing Program. He says indigent houses being built in Stettin and Martha Brae will be completed shortly. Minister of Finance Dr. Nigel Clark says Jamaica is in a fairly good position to access financial assistance in the event of a severe hit by a major hurricane system. His comments come in the wake of destruction to infrastructure in the Bahamas caused by Category 5 Hurricane Dorian. Dr. Clark emphasizes that any hit can put a major strain on the country's finances, and as a result, the government has put a multi-tiered strategy in place. This includes allocation in the annual budget, a $2 billion Jamaican installment to the contingency fund in March this year, and a $285 million contingency credit facility with the Inter-American Development Bank. There are also benefits from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility CRIF, to which Jamaica is a member.
And we are working with the World Bank of putting out yet another layer, a risk transfer instrument, such as a catastrophe bond, but a risk transfer instrument that would allow Jamaica to pay premium and be in receipt of funds in the event of a really severe storm.
Dr. Clark was speaking on Friday at the presentation of the 2019 CRIF SPC Scholarship Award to Herona Thompson. She's pursuing a Master of Science degree in Engineering Geology at the University of Leeds in the United Kingdom. The 4-year scholarship is valued at $5.2 million Jamaican dollars. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith is calling on Jamaicans who live, work, or travel overseas to register with the country's missions so they can be easily located during times of emergency. These are the honorary consuls, embassies, or high commissions. The call comes as a result of recent devastation of several islands in the Bahamas by Hurricane Dorian. Senator Johnson-Smith, who was delivering a statement to the Senate on Friday, said efforts were continuing to reach the estimated 8,000 Jamaicans in that country.
In terms of any formal register, there is none. There's no national register that we have of these persons, and accordingly, we really just have to be working with the community, circulating names, taking names where persons call and say, well, we have heard from this person and we note it, and or this person has been in the shelter.
Senator Johnson-Smith said the ministry had been able to contact 15 of the 48 persons it received requests to locate, and they were in good health. The Foreign Affairs Ministry is coordinating work to assist persons with emergency travel documents and communication with family. The minister has urged persons to call the Consular Affairs Department if they are still not able to contact family or friends. The number is 876-472-3584. Persons may also send WhatsApp messages and photographs. Still in the Senate, members approved the Law Reform Amendment of Penalties Act, which will update low outdated monetary fines for a range of offences. The motion was moved by Leader of Government Business, Senator Camina Johnson-Smith. Among the increases are amendments to Section 40 of the Offences Against the Person Act and the subsection dealing with aggravated assault against women and children. Fines will move from $2,000 to $500,000. In addition, the fine for persons found guilty of stealing certain farm products will increase from a maximum of $20,000 to $250,000.
Mr. President, appropriate penalties form part of the government's commitment to restoring confidence in the justice system as a whole.
Senator Johnson-Smith says the amendments are part of a broader reform of legislation across ministries, of which approximately 800 laws are being reviewed.
That work is underway, requiring, as it does, not only internal consultations by the relevant portfolio ministry with the technical teams, but in some cases where issues are cross-cutting, consultations as between relevant ministries, departments and agencies are also taking place.
And finally, the Ministry of Tourism is reporting an increase in arrivals from Russia since the start of the year. Approximately 3,000 Russian tourists visited the island between January and June, when compared with roughly 630 for the same period in 2018. Director of Tourism Donovan White says arrivals are expected to increase further as plans for another airline out of Russia to Jamaica are in the works.
An announcement will be forthcoming soon, but we are in deep dialogues with a major operator of air services out of Moscow to realize new services from that gateway early in 2020.
Mr. White was speaking at the Jamaica Product Exchange JPEX trade show press briefing in St. James earlier this week. In 2018, the governments of Jamaica and Russia signed a reciprocal agreement to waive the visa requirement for travel to their respective countries for persons spending up to 90 days per year for tourism, cultural exchange, or business purposes. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Mosquitoes can spread diseases such as dengue fever. Common symptoms of dengue include fever, severe headache, pain behind the eyes, muscle pain, joint pain, skin rash, nausea, and vomiting. If you feel you have dengue fever, visit your doctor or health center, rest, drink lots of fluids, use only paracetamol for pain. Do not take aspirin or other painkillers. Protect yourself from dengue and other mosquito-borne diseases. A message from the Ministry of Health.
They are often overlooked, but the work of the island's sanitation personnel is extremely important to the growth of our country. If the roads are not cleaned, we can get sick or see the outbreak of diseases crippling not only our health sector, but also other critical areas such as tourism. Come with us as we see through the eyes of some of the nation's street fairies.
Once upon a time, in a land far away from a fairy tale, were a people who lived the way you and I do, but a little differently. Much like the shoemaker and the elves, these street fairies don't leave beautiful pairs of shoes behind, but their art shares some similarities, and it's nonetheless worthy of recognition.
Good night, Donna Anderson, shovel user, shovel and jump. Clean up Jamaica.
I'm working in company 8 years now. I like the job, keep the place tidy and clean.
They always say to me, say, this is not a woman's work, but a woman has to do what a woman has to do, eh? You have to work for yours, eh? Nobody ain't gonna give you nothing, so you have to work for it.
Yeah, enough of the woman work hard and plenty of the man them. I get used to my work still, so I don't feel no different from the man them. At the end of the day, I will bread where I work for. So any work I work for woman. Woman the man work nowadays.
I'm alright with my work. Yeah, I can provide for myself, my nephew, my niece, my child. She don't really like me day out here, you know. She rather me day with she, but I have to make ends meet. I have to work, I have to pay my bills them. But they don't give me nothing, I have to work my own. But people that see me and want to style me and this, because I try to chuck work me do and them things there. But I don't really watch my face. Because I know, say, when my money enough, you see me?
I want to burn fire upon this whole foolishness that people talk from time to time about. If they don't litter, people don't get work.
Yeah, that's what them say to my time. But them can do better still. Plenty of them can do better still.
Enough of them like we, and enough don't like we, because sometimes we have to do with all the truck like all that, so now them don't say, you move from here, say you don't think in truck and them things, but we don't care about that. That's our work.
When you litter, you waste the resource of your country. You make life more difficult for yourself and your fellow men. And you destroy the aesthetic, the beauty of our country that we boast about so much.
We are cleaning up Jamaica. And without cleaning up not Jamaica, wiper, disease and germs are broke out. So everybody who work with solid waste, important people then. All are important.
Differently from the sweep of them, we don't like the garbage bag up and we go through it more easier for it. More time we come out and have to wait on the sweep of them like on the just seat right now. We have to wait till the street sweep up, but if it's bag up, it's more easier for it.
Just the fact that you are generating solid waste, I ask you to just take some time to package it properly so that it gives us more ease of cleaning. And it also helps the side men, side women. They are human beings too. Their job is already very difficult. Don't make it more difficult for them by giving them extra work to do. It is very tough on them. The job is difficult. You know, it's not just about lifting things put in a truck, but some of the things they encounter out here, bags with human feces, is common occurrence, especially in the market district. The smell of urine is everywhere, and it's in the solid waste that they're picking up. All sorts of meat cuttings, fish bone, fish back, fish gut, just about anything that people don't want, and they have to pick it up. They have to face it.
A certain time at the night, when we reach certain hours at the night, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, gunman can strike and we have to run left the garbage some of the time and all them things then. And come back around and take it up see because we cannot leave it. See me? We cannot leave it. And we don't like them keep Jamaica beauty and clean.
Well, I stay out of them way, and I'm not really ghost for them though. I still think them happening. I just stay by myself, each time I look a corner.
And yet, despite the tough nature of the job, these people show up not just for work, but they show up and work.
We're backbone of the company, you know. Who clean the rubbish and my backbone, we're the most important people in the company. How we clean up work, enough mess and good rubbish, bad rubbish, all different kind of rubbish.
I believe deep in my heart that if you talk about heroes and heroines, our sidemen and sidewomen are right up there with any because of the human service that they provide and in very tough circumstances to keep Jamaica clean. Day after day, night after night, they are out and about, they roll up the sleeve, and notwithstanding all that they have to face, their head is down and they are going relentlessly in pursuit of that clean Jamaica. I laud them. I lift my hat to them. They are good people. I just hope that more and more people will see them for who they are. People who are there to safeguard the health of the nation. They are the NSWNA. Without them, we are nothing.
Yeah, I love my work. I love clean the shovel. I read me use a night time in the shovel.
And as sunbeams break the night sky and the stars and moon bid their goodbye, the city smiles.
We island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash, no paper, no dash, no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep we
eat.
island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Government moves to secure Jamaicans affected by Hurricane Dorian, advances work to improve the island's drainage, and
in Jamaican terms, you would describe Ken as a nice man. As a nice man, a man of great honor, integrity, dignity.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says there are no reports of Jamaicans dying in the Bahamas as a result of the recent passage of Hurricane Dorian. In Parliament last Tuesday, the Prime Minister also revealed that 31 Jamaicans living in the Bahamas had sought and received help from the Honorary Council in the country.
Jamaica continues to stand with our brothers and sisters and Bahamian friends during this testing time.
In the meantime, Mr. Holness says a Jamaican interagency group was assisting relief and reconstruction efforts in Abaco and Grand Bahama, the islands hardest hit by the storm. The team, he said, was providing humanitarian, rescue and recovery needs. In addition to that, the Jamaica Defense Forces Disaster Assistance Response Team DART was helping the Bahamian government to build temporary shelter, establish distribution points, clear routes and reinstall power. DART will also assist with security and other needs required by the Bahamian government in the recovery efforts.
The government of Jamaica has established a donations account to support our brothers and sisters who have been affected in the Bahamas. The account is at the National Commercial Bank, Oxford Road branch, and the account number is 212-387-304. The name of the account is OPM Donation Account. Jamaica should be prepared. And I'm saying this bearing in mind what has happened to the Bahamas. Jamaicans should be prepared.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's impassioned plea to Jamaicans. He urged persons in flood-prone areas to finalize their evacuation plans. The Prime Minister also called on members of Parliament to formulate disaster plans for their constituencies, which would complement the National Disaster Management Plan.
Urging MPs to start thinking in this way, looking in your constituency to see the communities that may be at risk, start to make contact with them so that they are prepared to move if they have to move. Start the conversation about evacuation and how you will secure those areas that are evacuated. All of those pre-planning is necessary for recovery and resilience.
Mr. Holness told Tuesday's sitting of Parliament that Kingston and St. Andrew would soon be relieved of flooding when it rains heavily. He told the House that a request for proposal for the design of new drainage was completed. This is part of a national drainage plan that is estimated to cost between $100 and $150 million.
Hopefully they will go to contracting within a month, and the period of design will be about 6 months. So hopefully we'll have that ready in terms of the major drains that will need to be reconstructed or new drains to be put in for Kingston and St. Andrew.
The National Drainage Plan also includes improved designs for Maypen, Santa Cruz, and Port Maria. Those works, Mr. Holness says, will form part of the greater infrastructure development program that is being finalized. Prime Minister Holness led tributes in Parliament Tuesday to 3 recently deceased former parliamentarians. He said Lawrence Broderick and Glenville Shaw gave sterling contribution to the nation. And reflecting on the life and work of former Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Ken Baugh, Mr. Holness said he was a nice man.
He was not about power. He was about service. And that is, to me, the signal marker of his integrity.
Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Pernell Charles Jr., says work is being done to scale up the diversification of the island's water sources. At a JIS think tank Thursday, the minister said the state was actively seeking sustainable long-term solutions to the island's water challenges.
We, in doing things differently, are moving to identify new wells, to identify new solutions, new technology that can be utilized, that is affordable and reasonable, to reduce the reliance on rainfall. At the same time, we have to also look on our structure and our infrastructure.
Minister Charles Jr. also toured 8 corporate area housing projects which are being developed through loans totaling $1.5 billion from the Jamaica Mortgage Bank. During Thursday's tour, he lauded the developers for creating impactful construction projects.
There is more housing that's needed, and so we are going to do whatever is necessary to stimulate the market and to continue to attract developers.
The developments are Kensington Gates, Mayfair Manor, Sherlock Manor, Portview Manor, Edinburgh Apartments, Hewenden Apartments, Harmony Court, and Beaconfield Apartments. Minister without portfolio Darrell Vaz was also on the road last week. From September 9 to 13, he represented Jamaica's interests at the United Nations Trade Forum. He called for members of the World Trade Organization to address the structural and capacity constraints affecting small island developing states. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Be sure to join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
So many wish they could visit our shores. We live where they vacation. Brand Jamaica beckons all from the 4 corners of the earth.
Well, as a Jamaican, I have great pride in selling it. Your pride that you sell Jamaica with is something that it rolls off. Jamaica has so much to offer, and every time I have the privilege of bringing an executive down to Jamaica, an executive from an airline or a tour operator or a travel agency, and you take them across the country, the pride that they said, wow, I can't imagine, especially when it's their first time. Wow, I love this.
Build it. Cherish it. Our wealth is Brand Jamaica.
Years ago, important meetings and conferences were only held inside school auditoriums or church halls. Thanks to the visionary work of the government, the Montego Bay Convention Center was built and has since claimed several international awards due to its convenient spaces for hosting every kind of event. Find out more next.
Functional, a destination for international, regional, and local conventions. Flexible, capable of collaborating with other organizations involved in marketing and promoting the country as the preferred destination of choice. Focused, servicing the needs of all visiting groups and individuals, exceeding their expectations. Situated along the elegant corridor of Rose Hall, the Montego Bay Convention Center, with its oceanfront location and panoramic views, offers the very best meeting and convention facilities in the Caribbean. This agency of the Ministry of Tourism boasts a combined 139,302 square feet of meeting, exhibition, and ballroom spaces. The world-class facility provides guests with superior event management and personalized first-class service from setup to move out. a 5-time recipient of the World Travel Award for being the Caribbean's leading meetings and conference center. It is the place to book exquisite meetings, trade shows, and other special events.
The most important and impressive of its achievements has been the successful hosting of the first ever World Tourism Conference in the Caribbean. I think that the way in which the center responded to the demand for a world-class event was absolutely exemplary, and I think we made a great impression on the global community.
What we really do is to host anything that falls under the term event, from supply of technology, such as supply of a fine food and beverage establishment that we do have on property, our own executive chef, our own culinary food production department. When a client is coming in, one of the ease of which they find to operate with us is that they don't have to go to 2 or 3 different companies or persons to do business with us. We have seen tremendous success throughout the year. One such success that we've had was to again nominated and won the World Travel Awards trophy that take into consideration the finest destination of event management within the Caribbean itself. We went up against 3 other facilities, very good facilities, but again for the 9 straight consecutive years, we have been coming out the top winner for this prestigious award. When you have these events that we can bring them in, and especially in the financial year 1920, then you'll see increase in bookings coming to the hotels. You'll see much more spending in the excursion activities. You'll see much more spending in the nightlife within Montego Bay itself. So that is where we look at things, the economic impact.
The convention center is going to come in for far more attention with the expansion of rooms that are coming in this area. As we speak, I'm looking at the potential for 5,000 rooms just within this immediate area alone. And then when you add the broader areas of Montego Bay, the convention center will perhaps have to undergo some renovation and expansion.
You'll realize that especially for technology, you have to have consistent or continuous improvements and inputs. And one of the things that we look at especially, and the local market has picked it up significantly well, the international market, because of what it's been used in the first world, we have to ensure that the convention center, it does have the latest technology and it does have all the latest applications. So not to say what the investments will be, but especially from a technological aspect, we have to meet the first world requirements. So that is an area that we'll always be looking at, always be upgrading.
The Montego Bay Convention Center, an ideal venue to host any kind of event that the human mind can conceptualize.
We've come to the end of the show for today. Catch us again tomorrow on this same channel. As we go, be reminded to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.